Okay, so we are now doing question 1c in exercise 14h, which is asking us to find all the values of x between 0 and 4 pi for which sine of x equals the square root of 3 over 2. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my unit circle and realize that I'm looking at sine. And sine means that I'm looking at values on my y-axis. And I'm looking for where I'm going to get the square root of 3 over 2. And I know in my head that that's the highest value, so I'm going to go up as high as I can here. Square root of 3 on 2. Then I'm going to put little dots so I can get to my unit circle. So it's going to be here, and then come over here. It will be here. And then hopefully you've memorized the coordinates of this. So when my y value is the square root of 3 on 2, I know that in my first quadrant, my x value will be a half. And then when I come over here, I know that it's going to be minus a half, the square root of 3 on 2. And we only really care about our y value here because we're dealing with sine. And as you can see, both my y values are the same. Now I'm going to put in my line so I can draw my angle. So I'm going to go from here to here. And then my other spot will go from here to here. So now I need to figure out what my angle will be. So what will let me go here, what will my angle be for this? Well, again, this just really comes down to memorization. And although we might not like it, we just really need to set some time aside to memorize a unit circle. And this is going to be pi on 3. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to start writing down all my answers. So the first one will be pi on 3. And what that means is that when I put this x value into this equation here, so sine of pi on 3 is going to be the square root of 3 over 2. Perfect. So let me rub that out. The next one that we're going to have to find is from here to here. And again, we're just going to have to memorize what this is. And we know it's going to be 2 pi on 3. I talked about this in the last question. The way that I memorize it in my head is that I know that when I have these values, 1/2 the square root of 3 on 2, whether or not they're positive or negative. So over here, for instance, it's negative 1/2 over the square root of 3 on 2. But regardless of the sign in front of them, as long as I have these two values and these orders, I know that the denominator of my angle will be 3. And I know that in the second quadrant, my numerator will be 1 less. So here it's 3, so my numerator will be 2 pi over 3. And that's just a little trick that I use to memorize. So I can come over here, and my next angle will be 2 pi on 3. Perfect. So let me now rub that out and rub that out. And hopefully what you've noticed is that we've gone 2 pi around our circle. When we go 2 pi around our circle, there are two angles which are going to give us this value. But as you can see in the question, it tells us that we need to go from 0 to 4 pi, which means we need to do another rotation around our circle. So now I'm going to get another color. So what it's telling me is I need to do another rotation and then go to my angle. So here, that's going to be 2 pi. And this little bit here, we know is going to be pi on 3. So what it's saying is go from pi on 3 and plus 2 pi. Because obviously the angle of this whole thing is going to be 2 pi plus pi on 3. And again, we come over here and we do some working out. Pi on 3 plus 2 pi. I need my denominators to be the same, so I'm going to times it by 3. Then I'm going to times my numerator by 3 to get 6. So I'm going to get 7 pi on 3. So that will be my next answer, 7 pi on 3. Then I come over here, I rub this out, I don't need that, don't need this. So the next thing I'm going to do now is go to here this time. So again, I need to do a full circle because I'm going 4 pi around. So I do one circle, which is going to be 2 pi. And now I'm going to make my way over here. And we know that this is going to be 2 pi on 3. So my next value will be 2 pi plus 2 pi over 3. So I'm taking this and I'm adding 2 pi to it. I'm adding 2 pi to it. So I get do some working out now. So I've got 2 pi on 3 and I'm plussing 2 pi to it. But instead of writing 2 pi, I've already done my transformation here. I've already turned it into a denominator that I wanted, 6 pi on 3. is 2 pi. So it's just saving us some time. And 2 pi plus 6 pi is 8 pi. So my answer is going to be 8 pi on 3. And that's going to be my last value. So when I go around my unit circle twice, or 4 pi around, I'm going to get these 4 values out. And that tells me, for instance, if I was to put 8 pi over 3 into this, so sine of 8 pi over 3 is going to equal the square root of 3 on 2. Perfect. So let me clean this up and put a red box around it. This is going to be my answer. Hopefully this video was helpful to you.